Hey everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So we are going to talk about the common superstitions that stop most people from buying a house. This is a fun one. As you probably know, we've sold over 3,000 listings. So we get to hear when the buyer agent finally says, hey, we're going to cancel. Or when we say, hey, why didn't they like the house? And they ask us some questions or whatever, okay? But what we did is we went and figured out the four most common things we've heard, and we're going to share them with you.
Yes.
All right?
So the first superstition about houses is the house number. So you can have a negative superstition, like a house number that maybe is 666, or a house number that's maybe 1313 or something like that.
Or a number your person's afraid of. They don't like a number.
Or a number that maybe people like. We're in Nevada, so maybe 777.
They might like that.
What's another number they might like, Todd?
Well, eights.
Okay.
People from Asian cultures, 8 is somehow a lucky number. That's why you a lot of times see list prices that are like 888, like 350,888.
Right.
Because 8s are supposedly lucky numbers. I don't know much about the culture or why.
Right.
It's the same reason like hotels, like airline seats, you'll never have row 13. It goes from 12 to 14.
Right, and hotels don't have the 13th floor.
Yep, they don't have the 13th floor.
Right. So everybody's got whatever superstition they have, and we're not making fun of you for it, but we're just saying there are superstitions out there, and people make sometimes their buying choices based on those superstitions, whether it makes them not buy a house or it makes a house more favorable for them to buy.
Now we actually had one where the buyer they bought the house, they'd under contract, and then when they went to do, I think, the home inspection, the wife walking up to the house looked at the numbers, and then she stopped and added the numbers up, and the numbers added up to 13. Okay. So the numbers add up to 13, and then she said, "Oh, I don't want the house because the numbers add up. It's bad luck for the numbers to add up to 13." So you couldn't have 13, or they couldn't add up to 13, and that literally is what the agent said. That's the reason they can, and we let them out.
Right.
Okay.
And sometimes it's something about the house, like for example, homes that the front door and the back door are aligned, so that people feel that that's somehow not good luck to have that that airflow to where you flow from the front door out the back door. So sometimes it's things like that people have a cultural or a superstition issue with. So that's another superstition to consider.
Okay. Number two is the house is haunted.
Yes.
Right. Now, we're in Vegas.
Yes.
We have a lot of new houses. Houses haven't been around. Traditionally, haunted houses are older houses that have a history. Somebody died in it, or something tragic happened in the house, and it's been haunted. There are stories, but there are a couple haunted houses in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Some like mobster houses. We're talking houses probably built in the 50s and stuff that mobsters lived in and stuff. But it is a thing, and it's the interesting thing is it's not anything disclosable.
Right.
Like you don't if the house is haunted or believe it's haunted, then you don't put that in the MLS. You don't put that on the seller's real property disclosure. You're not even allowed to say it because it stigmatizes the house.
Right.
Right.
Right. So if you're interested in haunted houses, there is a haunted house tour in Vegas. We do have some interesting stories about us with some of the properties that we've been into. So, for example, I had a listing that it wasn't haunted, but it was peculiar. It had
the guy who built it was just
it was a custom,
bizarre.
Yeah, it was a custom home, and it had a secret room hidden behind the garage. So the garage had cabinets across the back, and one of the cabinets, if you moved it over, there was a door, and you went to this whole other room that was the entire width of the garage.
It was a massive room.
And it was a massive
room. But it was hidden.
Yes.
Yep.
And then when you went upstairs, there was, in the laundry room, there was a pegboard where you would hang up your mops and your brooms and that sort of thing. And if you pull that pegboard out, that became a door, and again there was a room back there.
Yeah. It was crazy.
And then the craziest part of the house, I thought, was that there was a secret room beneath the living room, and how you accessed it was there was a remote controlled. It looked like a ceiling fan remote control. So I kept pressing the button because I didn't know where it went to. Because that remote control also operated the blinds, so it operated a bunch of stuff in the house. But there was this other button, I didn't know what it did. And then come to find out, there was a lift that actually came out of the middle of the floor in the living room. Now this floor was complete tile, so you couldn't tell that there was a lift in the middle of the living room. And so this lift came up in the middle of the room, and it would take you down, and there was another secret room down there.
Yeah.
So,
and he built it. He was the builder.
Yes.
He had it built.
Yes.
But the bank took it over eventually. Yeah.
Right. So lots of interesting things, lots of interesting houses in Vegas, and I'm sure everywhere there are interesting homes. Some might be haunted. We don't know.
Or have unlucky house numbers.
The
third most common or thing that people freak out about a house is
disease. So some of you might be a little too young to remember, but back in the 80s, when AIDS was a big deal, that was a really big deal. People were freaked out if somebody had AIDS in the house. Today, the best way I can tell you is maybe with COVID. COVID is a big deal today, so maybe if somebody had COVID in the house, that would freak out a buyer that they don't want to be in that house.
Even though the disease is not in the house, like it's not still floating around.
Right. So disease is another thing that can stigmatize a house, and again, we can't disclose that.
Yeah, if we knew somebody had some disease and they, for whatever reason, can't disclose. It's not legally, like it's against the law to disclose. You can't just go say, hey, there was, can't stigmatize the house that way. Only material things for the house.
Right.
Okay. The last one.
It's the big one.
It's the big one. It's the one everybody freaks out about.
Yes.
Did somebody die in the house? Like, was there an old person who died? Did somebody just slip and fall in the bathroom? Did they die of their disease? Did they die from an unlucky the house had unlucky numbers. It was haunted. They got a disease and died. Like, that's probably the worst. It's all four of them, right?
Yes.
Interesting thing. In Nevada, it is not allowed to disclose a death in the property. So we're not allowed, we're not supposed to, can't do it. In the state of California, states are all different. In California, you are required, if somebody died in the house, to disclose it. It's a material fact in the state of California.
Right.
Unless they died of AIDS. Then you're not allowed to disclose it. So if you know they died, but they died of AIDS, you can't tell anybody. And that's weird. Okay.
But what if the ghost had AIDS and that's how you died?
If the ghost had AIDS because of the house number, I don't know. But anyway, so the bottom line is there's a bunch of different things that people are superstitious about: the house numbers, disease, haunted, right, or somebody died. Look, if you're not comfortable in a house for whatever reason, don't buy the house, because if it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, but if you're not going to be comfortable there, then you're not going to like living there. No one's going to be able to convince you otherwise.
Right.
Right?
So buy a house that you love, that you're comfortable in, that doesn't creep you out in any way.
Yeah.
Because this is your home. So buy a home that makes you happy.
If you made it all the way to the end, subscribe, notification bell, and
leave us comments. We want to know what you think is spooky about houses. What superstitions you've heard about houses. We want to know. We're interested in you.
Or if you have an idea for a video or whatever, we'll either make the video or we'll put in the link below your comment. We've done over almost 600 videos, so we'll put it in there. We'll make a video and put it in there, or put the link to one of the hundreds we've made.
So please leave us comments. We want to hear from you.
All right. Thanks for watching.